Friends, hello, greetings. It's Saturday, November 16th, and the market is about to start up again here in 2 days. Listen, let's talk about what's going to be happening here. Obviously, a huge week here coming for NVIDIA, and listen, if you're not in Sofi already, you're going to keep missing the boat here because Sofi is in a pyramid structure right now where it is just building blocks, block, with new levels, $1 every pretty much 14 days. We're hitting a new big high here. So, and I don't think it's going to stop. So let's go right into Sofi first and yap about it for a second. So, wow. The reason I put Trump on the front cover here, the thumbnail, is because there's a lot depending on what Trump is going to do here. Obviously, he's talking about the tariffs, all that kind of stuff. People are talking about that. They're scared for that with companies like NVIDIA because NVIDIA buys their chips overseas and they have them shipped back. All NVIDIA does is simply just, make the chip on a computer, then sends the directions to a factory, in China, blah, 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 Taiwan, then it's shipped back, all that kind of stuff. Anyway, long story short, that's why that is such a big deal. But even so, NVIDIA's going to be fine here. But like I said, go right into Sofi here, what we're talking about. Sofi is in a situation right now where it has loaded up so much ammo and it is ready for a hellacious war here going into 2025. We've got the $2 billion deal, the credit card stuff, we've got rate cuts coming. Rate cuts are still coming regardless. The biggest issue that we are seeing right now in this market is that if this wasn't an election year, if we didn't have what has happened, there's no doubt the market would be on fire. I mean, it would be just, the S&P 500 would be nowhere where it's at right now. It would be probably at a 55 range, maybe even lower. Because why? Well, the bond market is out of control right now. The bond market is at all-time high, which usually indicates, hey, there's a recession coming. Then on top of that, job reports, still bad. Inflation report, one just came out, another inflation report. It's worse than the last one. September and October, bad. We can only expect it's going to get worse here in December. And I think a lot of us can see that when we're going to the grocery store, like things are slowly going back up, like eggs are going back up, your toilet papers, your paper towels, household goods, meat is trickling back up here. So there's things that are slowly going up here again. I've just noticed when I go to the store, I'm like, that's kind of weird that, these were cheap a moment ago. So, things are just kicking back up and everyone's seeing it and the market is like, I'm trying to hold on here. So listen, my whole thought process right now is when we get into 2025, we still don't know how Trump's going to correct a lot of this, okay? He's given his ideas of what he's going to do, and he's in a very sticky, icky situation right now with this market because the market is like, we need help. But the market, one thing that the market does have that it hasn't had in the past with these bad situations in time is that the market has a lot of these AI companies that are bringing in massive amounts of revenue. We didn't have what NVIDIA is doing now in the market. We didn't have Palantir. We didn't have all these other chip companies, just AI companies in general that are just bringing in ungodly amounts of money into our economy and just pushing the market. So, Palantir, S&P 500, Palantir going down, the NASDAQ, that's huge, pushing those. So with that, what do you want to do going into 2025? You want to make sure, even if there is a reset, a stock market crash, something that happened like that, make sure you're in good stocks. And one of those should be Sofi. So Sofi has already proven that Sofi is doing great. That's why I talked about Sofi loading up like all this ammunition going to 25. It's looking for a battle. It's looking to fight. Sofi is going to continue to capture subscribers, customers. It's going to continue to release these big quarterlies. Every quarterly we see, it constantly grows. So this is why a lot of us suspect that Sofi a year from now could easily be at a 40 to 50. Let's just go crazy, say maybe a $80 to $100 stock. That's coming regardless into the future. Now that could be 2 years, a year. We don't know. The progression could get really intense here. What if we go into 2025 and you know what? The market corrects itself with these bonds, with inflation, with job reports. What if all that straightens out? Well, guess what? We're going to be going into more new highs. The market's going to be going crazy. SoFi is going to be loving that. Okay, rate cuts continue. they're going good. So this is why it's so hard to bet against the market right now. It's very hard to bet against the market. And we know what Trump loves. We know what Trump's going to be spending on. Trump loves the banks. He loves he loves defense companies, things like that. And those are things that are essentially a lot of these AI companies, what I'm trying to say. So those are things that are going to really, really do good here for, under a Trump administration. Now, SoFi, this company, I think you generally, just for an average blue-collar investor here, you need to at least rack up 50 to 100 shares of this stuff here fast as possible going into the next few years. Now, obviously, you want to get as much as you can on your hands here. Now, obviously, too, with that saying, the obvious situation, not everybody can afford to get 50 shares or 100 shares, but start somewhere. Start with $5, $10 here, there. Start to get in this situation here, because, even if we can see SoFi fall down to, even back to $11 range here, say we have a bad day in the market here, which I kind of think there will be a little bit of a sell-off here going into December. I think there's going to be a reset before January comes, where we know the market, regardless, is just going to go freaking bananas here. There will be a little bit of a reset, so it will leave opportunity. But the sell-off with SoFi, when we do see the sell-off here possibly in December, that sell-off could be $15. SoFi could easily run to, $15 to $17 here within the next few weeks as we continue to push into the new year, especially with Trump coming out day by day talking about, things that he's going to be doing here, that he's implemented into the new administration, the future, everything that's going on there. So in SoFi could just release some more news here about another big deal they're planning on doing here. So, that's always an ace up their sleeve, where they could come out and say, like, by the way, we just captured X deal here or there, and it could drive the stock up once again. So it's very dangerous to play around with SoFi right now, especially when all this good news is circling around it. So what I'm trying to say is you don't want to play around with SoFi too long to where you get left out of it, because even when it sells off, people are going to start buying it up again, okay? So if SoFi were to sell off into a high $11 range again, it wouldn't last long, because people, they know it's too good to let it sit there that long. This is a stock that, SoFi is a really good learning lesson right now. It's like a textbook learning stock right now for people that maybe are new in the market. If this is what you're wanting to look for when you invest in a company, you want to look for a company that is showing past history of a year or two. Click with SoFi, that is bringing out great earnings. Got it. Bing. Is capturing big deals. Bing. Got it. The CEO, for one, is talking to people. Bing, got it. And that has massive growth with them as a company. Bing, definitely got it. That just was shown in the last earnings here. So it has all this stuff festering around it, really good stuff. And this is what you should be happy about. Listen, it's a really ripe opportunity right now to get into SoFi, okay? This time next year, SoFi is not going to be in the teens. It's going to be in the 20s, 30s, 40s, depending on how aggressive this year gets and how aggressive SoFi gets with earnings, the next few earnings here in subscribership. So that's really my sales pitch to SoFi people right now that are still like hanging on the fence with it. I get it. SoFi has been rough to us in the past, okay? But we're dealing with a whole new company, a whole new bag of bones here with SoFi. SoFi's got everything it needs right now to prove that it's going into the 20s easily here sooner than later. So friends, I'm definitely bullish on SoFi. I've preached that many times before, and I'm still preaching it right now. NVIDIA. Friends, NVIDIA. Okay, I haven't talked about NVIDIA in a moment here, but here's the soundproof situation right now. A lot of people have missed out on NVIDIA here because they thought the stock couldn't go any higher. NVIDIA, once again, is sitting at an all-time high here. NVIDIA has had the biggest year ever. It has broken records with other companies. Their earnings, one of their last earning alone was more than some countries make in a year, okay? So it is the cream of the crop right now for companies that you can put your money in right now. The Blackwell chip was halted just a moment ago. The CEO came out and said, hey, it was totally our fault. We have fixed the situation. Blackwell chip coming out. Now we're getting ready to see this coming week here the new earnings for NVIDIA, which will be on the 20th. So NVIDIA, what we've seen here, even the last earnings, the stock produced such good earnings. People were just like, whatever. Okay, yeah, we get it. They're just, whatever. We get it. It's an amazing company, and they're bringing out insane revenue, and it's going to continue to grow. Once again, even if, NVIDIA matches their earnings here, let's just say they come out with a boring earnings and they just, they just meet expectations. The stock is still going to continue to do well. 2 weeks from now, NVIDIA could easily be at $160, okay? And then the sell-off to that could be like $152 to $55. So either way, NVIDIA is going to move up here. We're going to see some new levels of NVIDIA. Okay, well, let's just say in a crazy world here, which we know is coming regardless, either if it's this year or next year, when this Blackwell chip really starts to get into some sales here, in which everyone's going to want it once again, NVIDIA is going to start to match what they've done or beat what they've done in revenue. So this is all going to start right back over, and NVIDIA could possibly beat their earnings going into next year of what they made this year. And this leaves a huge argument that NVIDIA could, pull a Tesla here, what Tesla did just a few years back, where they had, a stock split, and then a year after that, they had another stock split. So it would not be shocking to see NVIDIA continue to bring out massive quarterlies here, continue to run up the stock here to where, maybe by January of 2025 here coming up, NVIDIA could be at $200. Well, then NVIDIA is going to release the last quarterlies of 2024 here. Okay, well, those earnings are massive as well. Okay, we're still running on NVIDIA. Now NVIDIA by April of next year is sitting around $230, $250. Okay, well, this is every quarterly here. We're running up to a $30 to $40 zone here. Okay, it was just a moment ago where, we had the split, NVIDIA sold off, then we had the other quarter. We had the other earnings here just a moment ago. NVIDIA sold off once again to right under $100. Then now it's back up to an all-time high. Friends, what I'm trying to say is, if you're looking somewhere safe to put your money here, it's going to be NVIDIA. NVIDIA is going to have another stock split here in the future. It's coming. You're not going to stop it with what's coming here with this Blackwell chip. It's very important, like I said about Sofi, you want to put your money in safe stocks going into an unknown market here, going into this 2025 year, with the market, with bonds being just the market. The market's an all-time high. It should scare you, because we don't know if the market's going to say, hey, we need to take a step back. We're going to reset here. So with that, you're wanting to be a part of some very strong companies that are going to regather all of that lost movement in their stock, to where if we see a stock market crash, there's a lot of companies that will come back very fast because people are going to start buying up those shares. So it won't be a long-term damage situation for you with that coming up. And two, I do want to say this, SoundHound is very attached to NVIDIA. If you've heard me yap about SoundHound, I love SoundHound, very deep in here in SoundHound. And NVIDIA just made another large investment in SoundHound. So, I would not be shocked to see SoundHound run up here a little bit with good quarterlies again with SoundHound. Those two are bouncing off of each other. And two, a lot of us, there's a lot of whisper in all of our ears out there that SoundHound could be bought up by NVIDIA one day. Could it? Well, absolutely. That's always a possibility. They've never made mention of that, but it's definitely, it's there. It could happen. NVIDIA can do what they want to do. The bullet points of this situation, of this story here that I'm talking about here, there's going to be a lot of change coming in 2025 market, okay? A lot of bank stocks are going to do really good. Sofi in particular, very young, got a lot of growth ahead of it. NVIDIA is about to start over with everything, with its earnings, with chip, where it's going, everything. It's going to continue to run up into 2025. Do not be surprised by this time next year, we could see insane numbers with NVIDIA once again, okay? SoundHound, Palantir, these are stocks, these are companies that you need to focus on. Two very expensive stocks, two very soon to be expensive stocks, okay? Friends, with all that said, I wish you all best of luck. Listen, this is going to get real expensive real soon with a lot of these companies. Think of it right now that NVIDIA is cheap. NVIDIA is cheap right now with what's coming. Friends, take care. We'll talk to you soon. Bye, everyone.